What's the good word, y'all? So we're breaking down our final prospect from the New York Jets 2023 Undrafted Free Agent class. Another promising safety that was brought into the building on a $100,000 guaranteed contract by Joe Douglas, Marquis Waters out of Texas Tech. And to be honest, I remember some of the comments when I broke down Trey Dean III, and this is a guy I was intrigued to jump into. You know, a lot of people had some familiarity with him. A lot of people thought he should have been a day 3 pick as well. It seemed like somebody that we, got another steal in terms of somebody that could potentially be a starter on this team. So let's go ahead and dive into a bit of the background. As we mentioned, coming out of Texas Tech, 6'1", 215 pounds. Instantly is going to make him one of the heavier safeties in this New York Jets room. And so you like that the additional size is going to be there. $100,000, you expect him to kind of stick around. And I do find it interesting that we are talking about a guy that's a bit more of a strong safety once again. So you realistically still have Tony Adams, and then you have everybody else, right? Chuck Clark, Will Parks, Ashton Davis, Jordan Whitehead, Trey Dean III, and now you're adding in Marquis Waters into the mix. So it feels more like replenishing the ranks a little bit. This will be him and Trey Dean III will be the new Ashton Davis and Will Parks, if you will, while we expect to see if Tony Adams is the answer, or if we find somebody else that can also suit that role to, being his backup. But Marquis began his career at Duke. Interestingly enough, you go back a little bit further, in high school, he was actually a running back. I love the prospects that have played both sides of the field. You hear coaches talk about it all the time. The understanding and, tendencies, how things click are going to be different from people that have had the experience on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Adding to that, a track background, you take a look at some of the plays that he has on tape. It makes sense, and he's actually a guy that, you're not talking about the more illustrious events in terms of fanfare, but, you're talking about running the 440 relay, different things like that with him. So durability, endurance, only one major career injury over his time. He has a well-rounded profile for a guy that's been able to spend that long in college, and he seemed like he has consistently been able to develop himself. So love that. He gets to Texas Tech. There's two things I wanted to highlight. For one, the position change going from running back in high school to a safety in college. He spoke about this. He mentioned that career-wise, it made sense. Longevity to go to safety. Also, he would rather be hitting people than being the one that's getting hit on a weekly basis. So respect the career decision. Smart move by the man by all accounts. And then in terms of going from Duke to Texas Tech, he spoke about wanting to highlight his coverage abilities, which maybe weren't necessarily done as much as Duke, whereas what he was asked to do with Texas Tech. So he gets to Texas Tech. Things don't go as swimmingly as you would like for him. He tries to arm tackle Bijan Robinson, the round one, running back that just broke that round one barrier, and he suffered a grade 3 pectoral muscle tear. So took things out from him being able to put up an impressive performance there. It's a shame, but he bounces back. I love some of the comments I heard from his defensive coordinator, Tim DeRuyter. He spoke about him being the most productive defensive player on the team, referencing kind of his utilization and skill set. He talked about Baylor's Jalen Pitre, however it goes anyways, one of the more recent safeties that came out of the draft in the last year or two. And then, him being utilized in this star role that's being implemented more so throughout the college ranks, where he's playing safety, he's playing nickel cornerback, he's playing outside linebacker. So, the man has kind of already got acclimated to all of these different coverage responsibilities, which is exactly what he wanted. And he was able to go out there and produce some pretty strong performances, right? So in 2022, we're talking about 60 tackles, a sack, an interception. But overall, let's talk about some of what he's been able to do over his career for the more flashy numbers. At Duke, over his 4 years, 3 interceptions, 18 pass breakups. He gets to Texas Tech in a year and then a shortened injury year. He was able to get 2 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, and he actually took one of his interceptions back for a touchdown. So you love to see the playmaking ability outside of just being able to force a turnover. Definitely better against the run than I would say coverage so far. So who knows, maybe if he was at Texas Tech longer or transferred earlier from Duke, we would have seen more of that develop within his skill set. But right now, definitely better, closer to the line of scrimmage, a solid tackler. And really his limitations in not being able to be a free safety is going to be the fact that he doesn't have, necessarily the best athletic profile for it. His range, he doesn't have the speed to be able to go completely sideline to sideline. He's not going to be able to come downhill in, a second and a half to go and make an early stop for an opponent. So that's really the biggest, factor with him. Outside of that, I love what he brings in terms of tackling, some of the angles that he's taken, but he's still going to be a developing prospect, right? These guys go undrafted for a reason. It's not like there was a smoking scandal or something crazy like that going on. So clean prospect. Love the fact that he was able to go out there and have success not only at Duke but at Texas Tech as well. And it'll be an interesting competition to see the career arc for not only him but Trey Dean as 2 of the younger safety prospects. Trey Dean being the guy that has the athletic build, looks like he's chiseled from a rock, and you love what he could potentially bring if things click for him, versus Marquis Waters, who's had more of a consistent production and presence for his team. So we'll see what ultimately happens there. I think, just looking at the numbers game, one of those 2 guys will have to stick. If I had to put my finger on it early, I would say Marquise, but I know the reports about Trey Dean recently were that they love what they've kind of been seeing out of him, for whatever that's worth, right? In mini camp, Robert Saleh's already said it, they're doing more so conditioning stuff than actual, practice and installation and all of those things. But we'll see. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, though, and we'll see what else we go into. I'm, working on trying to see what new series can come out, but I appreciate the support. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.